We're back. All right. The next little round here of Q&A, answering a question about what 3 exercises can we not live without. So we go to the gym or work out at home. What exercises should we do and need to do? Bench press, upper body, okay? Deadlift, lower body, and squat in the legs. So let's start with the bench press. So it's important because we're going to use the chest, we're going to use the shoulder, we're going to use the tricep. So all those muscles are pushing, so they are getting the benefit of being utilized. So they're going to build strength, they will take shape, so they will tone up and firm up in those areas.
Yeah, Brian mentioned deadlift as well. That uses your hamstrings. It's the main part of doing a deadlift is actually for your back. It's going to work your lower back, all your upper back. It's a compound movement and your hamstrings. It's going to use your grip strength in your forearms. And just think about, if you're unfamiliar with what a deadlift is, I suppose we can link it in this video here. Mm-hmm. But a lot of professionals use deadlifts for their back. And I like doing deadlifts. It's a very functional thing. You hear about people all the time like, oh, I threw my back out. Like, oh, what were you doing? I lifted something at my house. Well, that's what a deadlift is. It's just lifting dead weight. And people that have office jobs get really low, they get weak low backs just from sitting too much. And deadlifts will help alleviate that. And the other one we mentioned is squats. I think most people that go to a gym, I hope you're doing squats.
Yeah, someone's probably messed with the squat some way or another, whether it's been on a machine or, in the leg press. That's what you're doing is a squat, but just seated. But anyway, the squat, we want it because you're using all the muscle in your abdomen and the whole core area, because you're keeping your spine in line, because if not, you're going to be like this teeter-tottering flag in the wind. So you're using the muscle there, so that's where the area starts, so it's going to be doing the hold for you, okay? And then you're moving through your knees, hips, and low back. So you need to move through the knee and the hip together properly, teach the body to work together like you've seen in all our videos about timing. So that's why our legs need to move together, not the left side starts before the right. Things get messed up. So you really focus on building a ton of strength here in the quads. So all the muscle here on top of the thigh is the primary mover in that. It's going to be doing your pressing. So when you go down, you're going to feel that muscle's pushing up, and you're also going to feel it as it's lowering you down. And then all the muscle in the glutes, so all in your rear, all that muscle in the butt, it's holding you. That's what is stabilizing in the hip. So the hip girdle is a very important joint. A lot of muscle in there, a lot of attachment sites for musculature as well.
Just to kind of recap that, your major 3 muscles in the body, your back, chest, and your legs. So obviously all those exercises we just talked about hits all those. And you can't do your major muscles without hitting your minor muscles, which are like your shoulder and your bicep and your tricep. So just doing those will hit everything. If you're crunched for time during the week, you could literally just do those 3 exercises as a whole workout, like twice a week. You can get really tired. Yeah, I've had people do, not for a full hour, but pretty close, like nothing but deadlifts. We just keep changing the weight. And they look like they're going to die.
It's demanding.
It's not easy. All right, let's move on to the next question. As a personal trainer, well, both of us are, I deal with this a lot, and everybody has different motivations. The question is, how do you stay motivated? So why don't you start with that? I don't know what Brian's going to say here. How long have you been working out?
I've been working out since I was probably hard 14. I started messing around with weights when I was like 10, and a little bit before that,
really?
When I was about 8 years old. Yeah, because I remember my brother bought a weight set, and there was a bar in there, and he said, I don't think you lift the weight. I said, I know I can lift the weight. Because I said I knew I could lift the weight. Guess what? I lifted the weight. That's what it really boils down for me. For me, I'm always trying to get better. I want to better everything I come in contact with, everyone that I come in contact with, just the bettering of the things, okay? So for me, I'm going to go in the gym. I did a 100-pound dumbbell bench press last week. Well, I want to do 110 this week, okay? And then the next week, I know I can do 115, okay? So sometimes I train for poundages. I may only do 4 repetitions. There's just a ton of weight. or I'll just say forget the amount of weight I'll do. I'll just do maybe 50% of my maximum, and I'll just go like a madman and do 6 exercises all in a row, because I know I didn't train that way a week ago or the week before. So now I did it, and I was able to accomplish that.
So I think the question people get. So I'm understanding what Brian's saying, because I do the same thing. But a lot of people will say to me, "Well, why do you need to lift that much weight? Like, it's not all that functional. So like, why do you just keep going and doing that when it's just way easier to sit at home and have a beer or something?"
Just because I know that I need to be able to do it. For me, I need to try it. So
Is it a challenge, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's the challenge thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I deal with that, trying to talk through people about their motivations. Everyone has different motivations. So mine actually started out, so I didn't start as early as Brian did. I didn't start lifting till I was about 23, I think. And it was because I was done with hockey in college, and I started to put on weight, and I was like, well, I got to do something. And I started with lifting weights. I've tried to been healthy my whole life. I have family history of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, that type of thing. So for me, just staying active has been just a focal point of my life. But I do, like, I have, just as a example here, I have one lady who shall remain nameless. She's 40. She turned 40 this year. And she'd been coming in here for, I think, like a year and a half, and she maybe lost like 5 pounds, kind of like going up and down. Wasn't doing that much. She was obviously getting stronger, but she just wasn't losing much weight, which is what she wanted to do. And she just kind of decided New Year's to really be proactive about logging her food. She wound up losing 25 pounds, right? So that's at age 40, right? So that tells you age doesn't matter, which I say to people all the time. And then I asked her, I said, you've been coming in here for over a year. I was like, what changed with your motivation? And it was kind of funny because she said she was blaming me, right? And I was like, I was like, what? You're blaming me? What are you talking about? And she said it wasn't until she looked internally and decided, kind of what Brian was saying, that she just needed to be better. She's the common denominator. That's when it changed for her. So. Everyone has, I guess what I also have conversations with people all the time too. You really have to look inward to figure out what your motivations are. I think too many people just kind of go about life just kind of floating from one thing to another, and they don't really ever immerse themselves in something. So like I said, so I have family history of like heart disease and stuff. Like anyone else that wants to be in shape too, like, I just want to look and feel better.
Yeah.
Like one of the things too is like everyone wants to look better naked. Like that's one of the best ways to have that happen is to work out, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be weights necessarily, but
or just go pay your electric bill.
Yeah. At least go for a walk or something, right? So for me, it kind of started out that way, and then it kind of, to what Brian was saying, it's just kind of progressed into just trying to better myself. I say this to my clients all the time too. The second that you stop growing, you become stagnant. And there isn't anything in life, like in the animal kingdom, whatever. As soon as you become stagnant, you start to die.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really see any other option other than just trying to be your best.
Yeah, be your best and let yourself work out. And
the other thing is, I say this too, is like it translates into the rest of your life. So like if you push yourself physically all the time, you get used to beating yourself down, and it makes the rest of your life easier.
It will be. Like,
you just know you can test yourself, and then it's just like somebody at work is like, hey, I need you to do this, TPS report or whatever, and you're like, oh, no problem, because you've been kicking your own ass every morning for an hour or whatever, and you're like, I can do that, not a big deal, right?
Yeah. If you can handle things in the gym, you can really adapt and handle things outside.
It's mental strength.
Yeah.
And the last question that we got was just how to tone up underneath your arms, like the tricep area. So
all in the tricep. A lot of the guys, they want that that long kind of penciled in horseshoe.
Women don't want that, like what is that called?
Lunch lady arm or something. I don't know, the flat.
I can't remember what it's called. Chicken wing. Is that it? I can't remember. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
But the way to really get the proper development out of that, and just the way you get proper development, is to train the muscle fully by getting a full contraction by getting a good squeeze when you lock the arm out, whether you're doing an overhead extension here of the arm or a press down in the gym with a cable, a rope on some fixed machine. It's just going to be doing a full extension, locking it out, and then feeling it. Because you can do a ton exercise, you can do rep after rep and set after set and not really feel it. You can just go through the motions, but to actually feel and engage all of every single muscle fiber in there doing the press, you just really have to get that good proper squeeze.
Watch you don't rip your shirt while you're doing it.
Yeah, that's going to rip right here. I ate a lot of spinach already.
I would say do dips. It works your chest, and if you don't know what dip is, just getting your hands on 2 bars and just lowering yourself down and then pressing yourself up. Now, there's a lot of people that are unable to do dips. I would say next to pull-ups, it's probably the second hardest body weight exercise you can do.
Yeah.
If you can just jump up there and lock your elbows out and just squeeze as hard as you can through your triceps, that load of your body weight there will still work your triceps. The other thing too, if you're on a dip machine, you can just barely move your elbows and come right back up. You're using your triceps. So you don't have to do full range of motion. You're just working yourself up to that.
Yeah.
But that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing Greg says, getting it engaged. If you can get up there and squeeze, because I can sit here and flex my arm and I can feel the muscle lock in place. If you can do that while on the dip bar and you're elevated up, that's even better, because then you're going to translate that to any other exercise you do, lying down, doing the skull crusher with the bar, any of that. So you really have to feel it out.
Boom.
There it is.
Thanks for your questions. Feel free to submit anything else. We will try to
keep typing it in.
We'll do our best to answer them.